I've been breaking down things that have been metal, and I'm a reclaimer and a recycler, so, and you can actually get some money back for your scrap, and rather than just sending it off into the landfill. So I've actually been breaking down things, and I've got little buckets of copper and some brass and some aluminium, and like I said, I've got the old weed whackers down here, the whippersnippers. I've got a working whippersnipper. The Still's a good one. I really don't need to hang on to these ones anymore. And for a long time it was like just keeping things going and going and going, pulling things together and sort of MacGyvering things together to get them to work all the time. And I've done that with 3 different weed whippersnippers there. There's metal there, there's aluminium there, cast aluminium. I can break that apart, and while the metal price is not good, the cast aluminium price is pretty good. I've got 3 motors there. I've got another one down under the bench. I've got this old mower. This old mower here that I picked up off the side of the road, and it's done me alright for a little while, but it's starting to not do too well. I also picked up these 2 up on the street. Somebody was just giving them away and they had free signs on front of them. I'm thinking this one probably still works. I'm hoping they both still work, but if this one works, I'll keep that one. This one here, not sure what I'll do if it works, but if it doesn't, that's an aluminium body, and then you've got some cast iron and little aluminium parts and stuff. So breaking these down, scrapping them a little separately, can be quite a little profitable and better than, I think, just chucking them out and dumping them. Every little bit counts, right? So just as an example of some of the stuff that I've been collecting, because I don't want to just chuck it. I've got there's a bit of copper there, copper wire, and the pricing on the copper wire depends on how you strip it. Like, make sure you take all the plugs off, and it takes the price from like $1.90 to about, I think about $4, $3 or $4. And if you strip the plastic off, I think it takes it up to about $8 or more. I pick up a lot of tools and things off the side of the road, and I've hung onto them, and if they don't work, this is all motors. There's a really good price for motors. The gears out of drills and things. I've actually got some art ideas for those. And I'm a teacher. These could be fidget spinners. We've tried those a few times. And then I've got some cast aluminium. Has a different sort of price. This bucket I've got some brass parts like bolts and nuts and things off plumbing. This is all regular aluminium, so the price on that is different to cast aluminium. That stuff is all just random steel. There is things like, if you wanted to get really fussy with switches and things, but I don't, so I just chuck it in with the steel. Steel is the absolute cheapest. At the moment it's only like 9 cents a kilo. So not much, but I guess every little bit counts. So when I take down my steel, I might get like about 15-20 bucks when I've got it all done. But then I do get some good money from these other things. Okay, I've just had a closer look at these for the first time. Turns out the one on the left side is actually a 4-stroke mower. So it's got an oil reservoir here. And this Victor here, 2-stroke, and it also happens to be incredibly similar to that one there, which I picked up on the side of the road a couple of years ago. I noticed on this one, a couple of wires off, so I just had a look at the other one. Now what I'm thinking of doing, because this one's in really good shape in terms of the body, and it's got a catcher, and the top is still attached. The one that I picked up off the side of the road that I've been using, it's broken here, so trying to push it becomes a pain. The top won't actually stay on. I could get some screws, I guess, but I'm thinking I'm just going to use 2 mowers and make sure that that one is working well, and then I'll scrap this one here. This one's got a steel body, which isn't going to be as much at scrap, but I think that's the best way to go. Our washer died last week. Ran out and grabbed a replacement, and the old one I've decided to pull apart to scrap. So I've got some plain steel from the body and the front, stainless steel for the drum, and I believe stainless steel is a different price. This bit's cast aluminium. I've still got to get this off. There's some stainless steel from the back. And while I was at it, I found an old compressor motor in the yard, which is cast iron, stainless steel chimney flue, a few little pieces of the steel from the washer have gone into this box. Off the circuit board, I got some little extruded aluminium that was the heat sinks, and then a bit more copper wire. These things were some of the coils that were wrapped on the circuit boards, so I just peeled all that off. I've had a lot of scrap metal things that I've been trying to break down to go and scrap, like how washing machine died, and I've got a couple of old mowers and things. Haven't bought a new mower in years. I just keep old ones going and going and going until I've really just had enough. I've been breaking a lot of those things down into their different components, like cast iron, steel, cast aluminium, extruded aluminium parts, all that sort of stuff, because there's a different price for everything. Going through the house, under the house, finding old brass fittings and stuff that had it from plumbing that I just hung on to for some reason. I'm a hoarder. I've spent a few days on and off just breaking all that metal stuff down into the most components that I can get the best value from a recycling out of. And there's also a place down in between here and work that recycles tyres, so I'm going to try and take those down there as well, get them out of the yard. But I've got to go and get the van down into the yard and down the driveway as far as I can get it, so I can get the stuff into the van without having to bust a gut trying to carry it. Also got a couple of things from some of the mowers which were in good condition. I'm hoping to be able to sell those for a bit of recouping of costs and things. So, stuff sorted into the van: electrical wire, motors, copper, brass, aluminium, extruded aluminium, cast aluminium, some steel. I've got a barrel of steel in amongst those tyres. Stainless steel if they do that differently, cast iron if they do that differently, which I think they do. And tyres to go to recycling too. What I was going to say about the tyre recycle, I've just dropped them off here. I knew this place was here because I drive past it sometimes to and from work. I didn't know anything else about them apart from that, so I looked them up online. They take tyres from businesses as well as individuals, but I didn't know any of the process. I didn't know whether they paid you for the tyres or whether you paid them to get rid of them. So I rang them because I already had them in the back of the van and I had to come down the hill for an appointment. So I rang them on the way down to ask them, and I said I'd just like to know what the process is. And they said you basically come in, park the car park, come into the office. They asked me what type of tyres, and I had 3 4-wheel drive tyres and 1 light truck tyre from the van. And they said, oh, they're all the same price. It was $5.56 per tyre for me to pay. That's where I went, and I had a flip-flop situation. The cheapskate in me didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to just take them to the dump because they charge you at the dump as well. And I think their minimum charge for coming in there is like $36, and you can only have a maximum of 3 tyres, so I'd have to do a couple of trips. I thought about taking them into work and using them to grow potatoes in, but I decided to ring my wife as my voice of reason. She said, just take them there, get rid of them. We can't use them in the yard, we can't do anything with them in the yard. And the bonus is, as opposed to taking them to the tip, this place recycles them. And on their website it actually shows it talks about all the stuff that they recycle them into, like playground softball, road base, other rubber products, brake pads apparently, better than asbestos. At least going there and paying to get rid of them, I know that they were going to be recycled and not just dumped into a landfill. So the little good angel on my shoulder, my wife, got me to get away from the stingy side of me saying, you don't want to spend that money, you don't want to spend that money. I'm pretty certain that I've got at least 25 bucks worth of metal recycling in the back, which is where I'm heading now. That's done. Those tyres are offloaded. They're no longer just lying around my yard looking like a junk, making it look like a junkyard. Let's go see what we can get for all this metal. There's a bit of a line-up for the steel at the moment, so I went in and had a bit of a talk with one of the bosses, asking about cast iron and the stainless steel in particular, to see if they separate that out. And he said cast iron's just steel, stainless is separated if it's non-magnetic stainless. So I said I can come out and check that. Got a magnet. So I've got this washing machine tub. Yeah, that's magnetic, so that's just steel. The plate, that's magnetic. Alright. Chimney flue's non-magnetic, so that's separated. So it's really only that chimney pipe that's the non-magnetic stainless. I've no idea what the price is on that, but it's probably better than 9 cents a kilo for regular steel. Hopefully all the other stuff is all separated out good enough. We'll see. Just finished at the scrapyard and it was a worthwhile trip. 62 bucks and a bit all up. They were packed. It was crazy. I think I was there for about an hour, I think. Breaking down all that stuff is worth it. I've cleaned out the shed a bit. I got rid of those mowers. The cast aluminium. I had about 20 kilos of cast aluminium, which came to $21. All my little old whippersnipper motors and lawnmower motors and that sort of stuff. All those things that were no longer running. I guess I could have sold them to somebody who wanted to try and get them running, but I've seen all those. I've seen running mowers going for $20 each, and these things weren't. That's a bit of money back. I know it's getting recycled. I spoke to the bloke and said, well, because they were loading up one of the big trucks, and I said, where's all the steel go to now? And he goes, over Sims. And Sims had the giant steel shredders, and they have these giant mountains of just shredded steel in their yard, and then they basically smelt it down and turn it into ingots to be reused. They do that with all the different metals, the aluminium and the brass and the copper and whatnot.